Anyways, let's get started and let's basically have some fun here, and then we'll talk about the strike a little later on. So there's a movie that is going to be coming down, excuse me, down the line a few months from now, and the trailer just dropped today, and I gotta say, I'm interested, and I'm talking about Gran Turismo. So Gran Turismo, anybody who isn't familiar with it, and I'm sure you guys are in some capacity or another, it's a video game, okay. And that being said, okay, because of video game movies are so in right now, um, they have decided. So PlayStation has actually tried to adapt this to um, the big screen. And I think, I mean, from the trailer, and I'll leave the link in the description for you guys. So it looks good. And then again, this is one trailer. It's for a niche crowd. I'm um I'm I like racing games. I'm horrible at it. Um, so Coco says it's based off of a real story. Yeah, so that was one of the big things about this. It says based on a true story. Now, um, I've liked NASCAR, but I'm a horrible driver. I don't drive. Uh, I've played the games and I have a wheel that I can use. Yeah, nice, nice. I've wanted to invest. I've wanted to invest in one. I don't know. I mean, it would have to, it is definitely an investment. Anyways, so this cast looks halfway decent. Okay, and David Harbour is actually one of the big names in this, and this is one of the last, you know, based on the game. Okay, so this comes to us from the Wrap and um, Scott Mendelson, and of course he's a fantastic writer, and he's been on the show here. Go check his writing out at the Wrap. So, Gran Turismo dropped their first trailer. Fresh off $1 billion plus the success of the Super Mario movie, the next big deal video game adaptation has dropped its first trailer and poster, as you were just seeing. Um, so once again, here is the poster. Um, Rather than attempt a workable fictional narrative from a series of racing video games, the filmmaker has opted to do a true story connected to the games. The film, penned by Jason Hall and Zach Braylen and helmed by District 11 director Neil Blomkamp, is based on the true story of Jan Martisbro, played by Archie Middleton in the film, whose video game skills won a series of Nissan competitions and allowed him to get a shot at actually being a race car driver. From gamer to racer, the tagline states, and it's an interesting narrative that would be intriguing even if the IP surrounding it. The trailer lays out the story in a nutshell of a Gran Turismo gamer wanting to turn his passion into an occupation while his parents um, try to get him to realize that his blue collar roots offer a different path. David Harbour, as you see on the left there, plays the disbelieving but empathetic trainer, and Orlando Bloom is a mercenary guru loosely based on the TC Academy founder Darren Cox, who may or may not be a villain. And we get plenty of seemingly practical racing sequences, including one fiery wreck in the usual quote, "You don't get to do it a real do-over in real life" warning. They're like a Call of Duty type of thing. Sure, it's not that far off from The Wizard, but that Frank Savage, Christian Slater, Jenny Lewis coming of age road trip film, essentially Rain Man for kids, in a feature length Nintendo commercial, is nearly 34 years old and doesn't have the hook of being a true life narrative. Produced by Doug Belgrade, Carter Swan, David Dana Brunettes, Herman Hulst, Jason Hall, and a few others, Gran Turismo hopes to continue a hot streak of video game movies, one that began in early 2008 with Rampage and Tomb Raider and continued with Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and of course the two Sonic the Hedgehog movies, and the latest being Uncharted. Whether the Seven Games and Counting series has the kind of fan base will reach out to theaters is an open question. But this video game movie will always exist as a kind of low stakes, grounded, character focused melodrama that has become a rarer breed in Hollywood as it's tripled down on the mega budget fantasy action films. Its grim irony uh, counterpart, the Need for Speed film in 2014, has become the kind of film that to inspire a quote, they don't make them like this anymore, nostalgia, end quote, nostalgia. Columbia and PlayStation Productions Gran Turismo is based off the 25-year-old PlayStation stock race or car racing game, and it opens on August 11th. I gotta say, on the surface, this looks really good. So this is the one of the posters, and here's Coco. After such success with video game movies and shows, we're now getting a lot of video game movies like this movie and the Five Nights at Freddy and uh, the Iron Lung movie. Yeah, I mean the thing is this, and you're right, we are getting a lot of video game movies, and the thing is that when you have good video game adaptation movies, then people want to copy them, and it's true of any um, it's true of any genre, Coco. So whether we're talking about video game movies right now, or we're talking about, musical biopics is another one. If you look back, I've said this before. If you look back, like the last, I don't know, 7, 8 years, you have all of these musical biopics, whether it's Rocket Man or Judy or Elvis. A Star Is Born isn't necessarily a biopic, but it is a musical film. Um, it's success, and especially when um, you're telling the story. The thing is, okay, that it's already preconceived. It's already done. So you have the story of the individual. You just need to adapt it to the screen. So you're not having to worry about creating original characters and everything else. And it's the same goes with video games. The story's already there for you. All you've got to do is actually put it pen to paper. So having seen this trailer, okay, I really like this. Now, is it going to blow the roof off and do huge numbers? No, of course not. Um, but I do think so. There's a couple things here to keep in mind. Number one, this opens so in the right when you have in August, you have that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle coming out on the 4th, okay, which I think is going to be fine. Okay, that's more of a Netflix type of thing, and this opens the 11th. You have Blue Beetle opening up the 18th. So you're going to be getting a lot of that 18 to 34 crowd, especially males, okay, that are playing this game or have played this game or this looks interesting. And I think it's going to do well for what it is. Let's call it what it is. Um, so I like this. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be, you've got recognizable names in there, okay, with David Harbour and Orlando Bloom, and I'm sure there's a couple of others in there. So you're actually see. Then on top of that, you have that story of you know I can do anything I want. Couple that with a video game, with the video game, the younger generations, okay, that 18 to 34 crowd that plays. Now you're getting a lot of movies, a lot of things like this. I think it's gonna be a fun movie. You know, it kind of the trailer a little bit kind of in it's a little different, but it kind of reminded me of Days of Thunder. You know, the race car driving, except it was on a road track, and so yeah, I will definitely see this. I don't play racing games a lot, but I will definitely see this. I think this has the potential to do a good amount of money for it. Um, I would be curious to find out off the top of my head, and I don't know. Um, so let me check out. I want to go to. Bear with me. I want to go to IMDb because I want to see what the budget was of this movie. And So it actually doesn't have the budget. Okay, so that's a little interesting. But call it 30, $40 million, maybe $50 million. I think it's going to make back in a heartbeat. Um, you know, you've got Damon Hunzus. You've got Orlando Bloom. You've got David Harbour. Okay. Um, I think this is going to do really well for the crowd. So, let's just say it's $50 million. Let's just say. I think it's going to either make it back or it's going to get close. And don't forget, guys, you got overseas too. So even if it makes 25 or 30 here, it's probably going to make it back over there. Anyways, guys, what do you think about this? Are you a video game player? Do you like racing games? Do you like Gran Turismo? How many of these games have you played? Did you know the story? And are you going to go see this when it comes out on the 11th of August? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to everybody.